everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a bunch of fall DIYs using Dollar Tree products. I know it's a bit early, but remember it takes time to craft and to gather all of your supplies. And though it looks like fall behind me, it's actually 92 degrees outside, so let me know the weather near you. It looks nice and chilly in here, but it really is not. Anyways, with that being said, let's begin.
For our first DIY, you're going to go to Dollar Tree and pick up one of their broom handles, some masking tape, and then some of their longer floral stem pieces. You're going to take your broom handle and remove the handle piece off of it. This is going to expose a hole that you're going to feed at least 2 of your stems through. Then grab your masking tape and start to roll it over the base of the stems and then on top of the broom handle. This is going to make it look like one seamless piece. Now along the way, you're going to start adding other stems. As you add your stems, you're just going to use your masking tape to attach them to the broom handle, and again make this look like one piece rather than a broom handle and then these stems. I used 8 stems total. Once I have all of my stems attached to the broom handle, I wrap the rest of my masking tape down the broom handle. From Dollar Tree, I also grabbed a planter, some rocks, and some styrofoam. I'm going to glue my styrofoam inside of the planter. Now for this particular planter, I should have went with the square piece of styrofoam that Dollar Tree has. So if you get a planter where it's more narrow at the bottom, get the square piece. It's going to fit better. Now I open up my stones and I pour them inside of my planter. You need the bottom to have some weight to it, whether you're using stones or something else. If it's too light, your tree is going to fall over. I'm going to push the broom handle into the center of the styrofoam. Before I do that, I grab a scissor just to start the hole. It makes it so much easier to push through. Now you're going to take some brown paint and start to paint the masking tape, and this is going to make it look like a branch. When you're doing the masking tape, I forgot to say, you don't have to be perfect with it. The more imperfections it has, the more realistic it looks. So this is the first tree I made using only Dollar Tree products. I ended up making another one, but I used long stems that have orange leaves. I got them for around $3 each at Hobby Lobby. On this tree, I wrapped some fairy lights. They're cluster fairy lights that I got from Amazon. I'll link them down below for you guys. They make the tree look so gorgeous. I'm so proud with how it turned out because trees that are similar to this, when you buy them in stores, they cost a lot more than what it took for me to make 2 of these. For this DIY, you're going to pick up some fake apples at Dollar Tree. You're also going to need some glossy Mod Podge and a paint that looks like caramel. I'm using this Americana paint in honey brown. What you're going to do is you're going to grab a container you do not eat out of and pour Mod Podge inside of the container. Then pour paint inside of the Mod Podge. I do about a 50-50 ratio. You're going to mix it all together. Once it is mixed, grab your apple, push a wooden dowel through the top of the apple. Get some parchment paper. You're going to want this so that anything you put on the apple doesn't stick to whatever surface you're putting it on. You're going to dip your apple inside of your Mod Podge mixture. Basically, it's supposed to look like caramel that's going to go on your apple, which, by the way, do you say caramel or caramel? Obviously, I say caramel. Each apple I make, I dip inside of that Mod Podge mixture twice. The first layer, I wait for it to completely dry before I go in with the second layer. For my caramel apple nuts, I'm going to be using something called Cade Cob, which is actually hamster bedding. It does a really good job of looking like little peanuts. After you dip the apples inside of the second layer of Mod Podge, that's when you're going to put the Cade Cob on top of the Mod Podge while it's still wet. That way the Cade Cob has something to stick to. You're left with the cutest little fake caramel apples. I know decorating with fake food is not for everybody, but my favorite time to decorate with fake food is definitely during fall. For this next DIY, I went to the hardware store and I picked up 3 urn planters. I'm going to place the 2 smaller urn planters inside of the larger planter. The large planter was $12.99. The 2 smaller ones were around $6 each. I got them at Menards, which is a hardware store here in the Midwest. Now I'm going to take some floral foam that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm just using dry floral foam. You can use the styrofoam if you want to. I'm placing it inside of the planter, and then I got some foliage and flowers at Dollar Tree that I take off of the stems, and then I'm going to push inside of the foam. I ended up using 12 Dollar Tree flower bushes total. Inside of the top planter, I'm going to place some pumpkins, making it look like a really pretty pumpkin topiary.
So this is how it turned out. I don't know if I like the neutral and orange pumpkin or 2 orange pumpkins. In all seriousness, I think I would have liked both pumpkins more if they were both neutral. Anyways, still nonetheless, I think it's really pretty and it makes a beautiful outdoor decoration piece. If you want to, you can turn the top planter into a fountain instead. All you have to do is put water inside of your top planter and then get a solar fountain. You can find these on Amazon. I'll link them down below for you guys. All you have to do is put it inside of the water and then water comes right out. For my fountain, I ended up removing one of my planters just because these planters are plastic. They're very lightweight that I thought if I had two of the small planters still there, that this might topple over. Anyhow, isn't it super cool? It's so easy to make a fountain with those solar light fountains from Amazon.
Moving along, for our next DIY, you're going to need a pool noodle from Dollar Tree, a hula hoop, and one of their plant hangers. You're going to take your pool noodle and cut into it. You don't want to cut all the way through. You just want to cut it enough so that you can wrap it around your hula hoop. I'm using the smallest hula hoop that Dollar Tree carries, and for that hula hoop, I needed 2 pool noodles. One pool noodle, I used the entire pool noodle, and then the other one, I just cut a little piece off of it so that I could cover the rest of the hula hoop. I then got some white duct tape from Dollar Tree. I use it to tape the ends of the pool noodles together so that they stay in place and don't come off of the hula hoop. At this point, you're going to take your plant hanger and zip tie it to the pool noodles. Make sure that the hanging part is centered. That way the weight is evenly distributed and it isn't going to be lopsided on you. Now the fun part, you want to go to Dollar Tree or wherever else and pick up some floral pieces. You're going to take the individual stems off of the main stem and then push those pieces through the hula hoop. You can use whatever colors you want, whatever flowers you want. That is completely up to you. So the foliage you see me using, the flowers, the pine cones, that is all from Dollar Tree. I ended up getting some pumpkin picks, and those I got from Hobby Lobby. Dollar Tree has pumpkin picks, but they don't carry them right now, and they don't look very realistic, so I decided to go with the ones from Hobby Lobby. The little white pumpkins are from the flowers I got at Dollar Tree. This is supposed to be a flower chandelier, so I'm going to hang it up. To hang it up, I have these little ceiling hooks I got at Home Depot. A 2-pack is around $2. I'll link them down below for you guys. So I hang it up, and then I figure out where there still needs to be more pumpkins or any areas that need something to cover up the pool noodle. The other orange picks that I'm using, those are from Hobby Lobby too. This is one of my favorite chandeliers I've ever made. Now, I usually make these for summertime, but this time around I'm like, why wouldn't I just do it for fall too? And it just came out so pretty. You can add fairy lights to the chandelier if you want to give it a really magical feel, especially at nighttime when those fairy lights are glowing. Now, I'm sorry about this footage. I filmed it for YouTube. I lost that footage, so I'm going to use the footage I filmed for TikTok and Instagram. So basically, you're going to get a pumpkin. Dollar Tree does carry larger pumpkins that you can use for this. What you're going to do is you're going to cut the top of the pumpkin off, and then you're going to get a bunch of floral that you like, whether from Dollar Tree or somewhere else. You're going to remove them off of the main stem and then push those pieces throughout the pumpkin. Really simple and easy to do. I ended up getting some fairy lights and wrapping them around the flowers. I think this looks so pretty and magical. I love this as a centerpiece. It's a beautiful piece that you can use for the fall time, for Thanksgiving. I love it. If you guys are enjoying the DIY so far, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up. A lot of these DIYs I filmed this year, it's not just a bunch of old footage that I compiled into a video. I work really hard on this stuff, so I really hope you guys are enjoying. For our next project, I'm going to be using these wooden looking candle warmers from Dollar Tree. I'm actually going to be gluing some of them together to make it look like a candle pillar. Now, I got some styrofoam rounds at Dollar Tree. I'm going to be gluing them to my candle warmer. On top of the styrofoam, I'm going to glue some larger pumpkins. The pumpkins I got from Michael's and Hobby Lobby. You can get larger pumpkins at Dollar Tree. I just don't like the way that they look because they're like velvet and satin. I'm going to push some fake greenery and flowers through that styrofoam to hide the styrofoam and to make this look so much prettier. The greenery is from Hobby Lobby and then the flowers are from Dollar Tree. Yet another really easy DIY. You can place it on top of a table or on top of a mantle. If you're wondering about those mirrors, one of them I got from Hobby Lobby, but the larger one is from Walmart, and I'll link it down below for you guys. It's relatively inexpensive compared to the Anthropologie mirrors. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using Model Magic. You could get a 1-ounce package at Dollar Tree for $1.25, but I recommend going somewhere else to get more bang for your buck. What I'm doing is I'm taking little pieces of Model Magic, rolling them into a ball, and then pinching them with my fingers to create an apple shape. And the apple shape pretty much looks like
like a half moon, just a little more rounded. Then I take a larger piece of Model Magic, roll it out to flatten it. And then I take a pizza cutter that I'm no longer using for pizza, and I cut out little strips. You can always use something else to do this. Now the little apple pieces, you need to wait 24 hours for them to completely dry. Once they're dried, you can go ahead and paint them. I got this metal bottle cap from Dollar Tree that looks like a pie pan. I grabbed a piece of tan felt and I cut out a circle that I'm going to glue inside of the bottle cap. That way I don't have to cover the entire bottom of this with the apples, and if there's any area that I miss, the metal doesn't show. I just use hot glue to glue the apple pieces inside of the pan. Then I take the strips that I had cut out and I start to lay them on top of the pan to make it look like pie crust. So I lay them down, I wrap them around each other to make it look more like pie crust, and then I go ahead and place it around the pan and pinch it to make it look like dough. Now the apples were completely dried. The top piece, when I put it on top of the pie pan, was not dry. I remove it while it's still not dry and I paint it. I do this because it's so much easier to paint it without it being on top of those apples versus them being on the apples and then you're trying not to paint the apple. Once the paint dries, you can place the crust back on top of the pie. Now something I highly recommend doing is getting ground cinnamon, and you're just going to pour and rub the cinnamon on top of the crust. This really makes it look like an apple pie. And the good thing is cinnamon is a deterrent to bugs and mice, so it's not like it's going to attract animals. If you want to raise up your pie, you can just get an actual pie pan from Dollar Tree, dummy up the bottom, and then place the pie inside of the pan to make it look deeper. And that's how I made these fake apple pies. Probably my favorite DIY in this video because they look realistic and they're so cute. Like I told you guys, I'm a sucker for decorating with fake food during the fall time. Side note, I made a cherry pie and the cherries are just beads I got at Michael's. The next time you're at Dollar Tree, head to the toy section and buy some of their food squishies. So they have this pie one they carry pretty much all year round, and then these fake looking bundt cakes. What you can do is you can paint over these squishies to make fake food that is perfect for the fall season. So I'm actually turning these little pies into pumpkin pie. So I grab a crust color to paint the crust, and then a brown color, or I guess a brown orange color, to be the pumpkin pie. You will have to do a few layers of paint for each color to make it opaque and get rid of any of the features that are already on the squishy. After you've painted and you've waited for the paint to completely dry, you're going to get some glossy Mod Podge and go over the pumpkin pie area, because pumpkin pie in general does have a shiny finish to it, so the gloss really does help it look more like pumpkin pie. I recommend doing a few layers of Mod Podge to get that really nice glossy finish. Now for the bundt cake, I did not use Mod Podge, I just painted it brown. The glaze area I painted white, and then the top I painted red to look like cherries. These came out so stinking cute. It's one of my favorite DIYs in this video because I took something that looked like a toy and made it look like realistic food. The cherry pie you see there is actually from a DIY I did last year, and I'll link it down below for you guys if you want to know how I made that crust look more realistic. Again, one of my favorite DIYs, like how cute. The next time you're in Dollar Tree, grab one of their round wire wreath forms and then some foliage. We're going to be making a wreath, but don't worry, it's not a basic wreath. I don't really like to do basic on my channel. So first off, I'm taking my leaf stems, I'm going to place them on top of the wreath and then zip tie them into place. I use at least 2 zip ties for each leaf so that it's at the bottom and the top of them and they don't go anywhere. Now it's time to make some of the cutest things ever. You're gonna grab some felt. You want to grab brown colors, white, a orange color, and then I got this metal bottle cap from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna trace the top and bottom onto this tan color piece of felt. Then I'm gonna cut those circles out. One of the circles, the larger one, I'm going to actually cut the inside out of as well so that I have just like a circle border. I grabbed another piece of that tan colored felt and I cut out some strips. The smaller of the 2 circles that I cut out, I'm going to glue inside of my little bottle cap. I got some glitter vase filler at Dollar Tree. Now this has blue and red in it, so I did need to get 2 packs, but sometimes you can find all red and sometimes you can find all blue. Just depends on your local Dollar
Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is I am going to put these balls inside of my bottle cap, and basically it's supposed to look like fake cherries or fake blueberries. I tried to glue the smaller balls on the bottom and then the larger balls on the top. Now once I have all my balls inside of there, I take that border circle that I created and I glue it around the edge of the bottle cap. Now I take those strips of felt that I cut and I start to glue them around the pie pan to make it look like pie crust. I'm just pinching them around the edges of the pie pan and then I'm layering them on top of each other. Honestly, I probably should have did this off of the pie pan and then glued it to the pie pan. I just wasn't thinking. Look at this. This is just so darn cute. Anyways, I wanted to make a whipped cream dollop for the top. So what I did is I grabbed some white felt, I cut out a circle, and then I start to fold pieces of the circle inward and glue it into place. I don't know really how to explain it, but you can see what I'm doing. And then I just glue that to the top of a pie. So that I could attach this to my wreath, I'm going to be using zip ties. There's 2 little holes that are on these bottle caps. I feed the zip tie through the holes. And then I'm going to make some other pieces that are going to go on the wreath. But these pieces, I'm going to use cardboard. Just get any cardboard you have laying around the house. Make 2 little holes that are near each other side by side, and you're going to feed the zip tie through those holes. Then whatever you make, you want to glue it to the cardboard. That way you can zip tie it to your wreath. Technically, you can make holes in the felt pieces you're making and zip tie it that way. It's just going to look kind of messed up and create wrinkles. So once you've got all your pieces together, you can start zip tying them to your wreath. So I made a pumpkin pie, a cherry pie, a pumpkin pie slice. I'm going to tie a bow to this. The bow was pre-made. I got it from Michael's. I had a $10 voucher, so I used my $10 voucher on their little ribbons. All of these stores are already carrying fall and Halloween items. Like I said, every single year they come out earlier and earlier, but again, it does take time to craft, especially if you're somebody who crafts and sells their items. I did add 2 pumpkins inside of this wreath. I got them from Hobby Lobby, and that's how I created the cutest freaking wreath ever. For this DIY, you want to get some round boxes from Dollar Tree. I got some in the crafting section, but you can also get the gift boxes. I also got some white felt. I'm going to take my box without the lid and place it on top of the white felt. I'm going to trace the box so that I could get the correct width and then cut a piece of the felt out. That piece I cut out, I'm going to glue to my box. I got some square pieces of wood from Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint them brown. I'm trying to make them look like graham crackers. The brown I use isn't the perfect brown. However, it doesn't look terrible. Now I glued my box to one of the square pieces. Then I got some craft foam and I started to create little features for my marshmallow to give it more of a cute look to it. So I used black to create the eyes and the mouth, and then I used brown to create the fudge. Once I have those traced, I cut them out and then I glue them to the marshmallow. You can always paint the face on if you want to. You can use construction paper. This is all completely up to you. I like the way that craft foam looks, and I did have to use some white paint to create the pupils, and then I used a little bit of pink paint to create the little cheeks. Finally, to make the squares look more like a graham cracker, I grabbed a darker brown paint and painted on some lines going through the squares and then little circles. These s'mores decorations are absolutely adorable. The larger one, the box that is there, it's actually just found in the party section of Dollar Tree. They have gift boxes there, so if you want to make them bigger, go to that section. This is a DIY I've done the past 2 years during summertime, but you can switch it over for fall. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get some planters. You want at least 3. 2 can be the same size, but 1 you do want to be larger. So what you're going to do is you're just going to fill your planter up with some soil, then place the smaller planter inside of the larger planter upside down. Then take your 3rd planter and glue it to the smaller planter that's inside of the larger one. I then fill up the larger planter with some more soil. I'm going to grab some flowers and I'm going to go ahead and plant them inside of my planter. I wish there was mums at the garden stores near me, but there was none. So I just tried to go with flowers right now that look like they are fall flowers, so just orange and yellow. You have options here. You can fill up that top planter with soil and then put a bunch of flowers in it. I only decided to put flowers along the edge of that planter, and then I grabbed a smaller planter. Sorry, I have to say planter so many times, and I pushed it into the center. of that other planter, and I then stuck a fake pumpkin inside of the smallest planter. This DIY is always so easy to put together. It looks really nice. In my opinion, it looks pretty high end, and you can make it for a really inexpensive price if you want to.
What is holiday decor without a tier tray? Dollar Tree right now is selling these party trays that are perfect for this project. You want to make sure you get some candle pillars as well, and this is what's going to give you the height you need for your tier tray. So I'm using some E6000 glue and a little bit of hot glue just so that it dries more quickly to start creating the height I need for my tier tray. So I use 2 candle pillars at the bottom, and then I just use 1 at the top, and then 2 trays total. We're going to dry brush on top of our tier tray. This is really going to give it that look of a tier tray you see on Pinterest. You need a paintbrush for this, the kind you use on the walls, and Dollar Tree's paintbrushes are perfect for this. You dip your brush into some paint, and then you wipe a good amount of it off just by gliding the brush on a piece of paper or something. So your brush is relatively dry, and then you start to create light strokes on your tray to look like wood grain. I highly recommend using different shades of the same color or colors that complement each other. I did different shades of brown and then some white paint. You can see that this starts to look more aged and almost like real wood. I highly recommend though using 3 shades of the same color so you'll have a light, medium, and dark shade of that one color. After I go in with the brown shades, I then go in with my white paint, and that's just the final color that I use, and I'm left with this beautiful tier tray that definitely looks like those wooden tier trays you buy at Kirkland's. And I love that it's a decent size because most Dollar Tree DIY tier trays are not very big. This next project is inspired off of this garland that I saw at Michael's. It was $20, and even on sale I know I can make this cheaper. So I went ahead and I picked up some felt from Michael's for 49 cents. You can buy felt at Dollar Tree. The only thing is you can't choose the colors that you get, and the felt is really cheap. I picked up these pumpkin color felt pieces from Michael's, and I'm cutting out triangles that are 5 inches long on the sides. Now this tan piece of felt that I purchased, I'm cutting out strips that are going to go on the top of the orange pieces of felt. Then I took white felt and I cut out little shapes that look like flowers, but really you can do any shape you want. I'm making pumpkin pie slices out of these. So I take 2 triangles and I glue them where the top of the slice is supposed to be. I then take the tan strip I cut out and I start to glue that to the top of my pie. And I'm doing the creases like I did with the dough. The best way to do this is put some glue down and then place your strip down and start to create those creases on top of the glue. Once the crust is down, I then cut off any excess felt. Then glue down your white piece, which is supposed to be the whipped cream. I wanted to give this a stitched look like I saw at Michael's, so I just went in with paint and I started to create that stitch look. And this is Warm Buff from Apple Barrel. We're going to make those pumpkin spice mugs that were on the garland. To do that, I'm using this cream color felt, again from Michael's. Now you're just going to draw a mug on top of the felt. I already pre-made one, and I'm just using that to trace that shape on a bunch of pieces of the cream felt. The top of the Michael's pumpkin spice mug has something that looked like a pumpkin, so I used orange and brown felt to create that pumpkin. Now glue everything together, and just like the Michael's one, I want to do the stitching look, so I use black paint to do this, and then the warm buff paint on the top where the pumpkin is. There was a coffee cup on that garland I knew I wasn't going to be able to recreate, so I did my own thing. I got white felt and cut out the main base of my cup. Then I used the beige felt for the lid and the sleeve of my cup. Then I cut a little white circle that's supposed to be the label of the coffee cup. Glue everything together. The label I decided to paint a green circle on top of, and I cut a tiny little pumpkin to glue to the front of that. And of course, I did the stitching on this as well. I decided to make a round pumpkin pie that wasn't on the garland at Michael's. I traced 2 circles on the tan felt and cut out. I then traced a circle on the pumpkin colored felt, and I made sure that this circle was smaller than the tan circles. I used the white felt to make the whipped cream and the tan felt to do the crust. So like I said, this is just a full pie. To hang the felt pieces, I'm using Dollar Tree jute cord. What I do is I wrap my felt pieces around the cord. So I have one piece in the front of the cord and one piece in the back of the cord. I glue most of the felt together except for the very top. I don't put anything there. That way I can move the felt pieces around freely. So you glue everywhere, pretty much everywhere at the bottom, but leave no glue at the top so that the pieces just move around.
To hang this up, use command hooks and tie the cord around the hooks. This is actually staying above my bed, so I wanted to share with you guys how that looks, but obviously you can use this on a mantle, cabinet. I also decided to show it near all the fake sweets I made. It looks absolutely adorable. And the best part is this cost me $5 to make. It'll cost you around $6 if you don't have twine. So I made that garland and realized that I can make the cutest decorative pillows with these, and they're just smaller pillows that are for decoration. So what you'll do is you'll get 2 pieces of felt, again, to be the back and front of your pillow. So I have that pumpkin color felt, and I'm just creating a triangle to be a pumpkin slice. Now I glue both pieces of felt together, but I leave the top open because I need to stuff cotton inside of there. I'm using actual cotton balls I got at Dollar Tree. I unraveled them and stuck them inside of the felt. You can get an old pillow. I just use this because this is what I had on hand. Once the cotton is inside, you can go ahead and seal off your pumpkin pie. Now I use the tan color again to make strips that I am going to use to create the crust, but I made sure that these strips were thicker because this is a bigger piece of pie. Of course, I got my white felt, I cut it out to make my little fake whipped cream, and then I did the stitching. If you actually want to use your sewing machine to sew this all together, go ahead and do that. That's completely up to you. Like I said, these are just decorative pillows. They're not meant to actually lay on top of. It's just nice looking. I put these on top of my bed near the garland. It looks so adorable. This is how it looks on the couch. Obviously, you can mess around with the way that they are on top of your couch, but these were so inexpensive to make and they're absolutely adorable. This DIY, I'm using the plastic coffee cups from Dollar Tree as well as a styrofoam ball, but cut in half, so you just want one side of it. Now you need spackle. Dollar Tree carries spackle, but if you watch my channel, I always repeat this because I don't know if it's a new person watching. I prefer to use DAP patch and paint. You get more bang for your buck just by buying a bigger container if you love to make fake sweets like me. I scooped some spackle inside of a container and then I poured some paint inside of the spackle. Now I didn't mix it completely because I want the paint to be a little bit more saturated in some areas and then some of the white spackle to be popping through, so I just get different shades inside of this mixture. You're gonna need some icing tips for this. Dollar Tree does carry some, but I prefer to get the metal kind because they're reusable. The Dollar Tree ones just aren't. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna scoop your spackle inside of a piping bag that has that icing tip, and then you're gonna get a paper plate or a plastic plate. You're gonna place your styrofoam ball on top of the plate and then start to squeeze out the spackle, basically making this look like whipped cream. I do these mug toppers all the time during the holidays because they're so fun to do and probably one of the more well-known fake sweets that I'm known for. I just love to do it because it's adorable. I've done this so many times on my channel, but never like this where I don't entirely mix the paint, and I really just like the look that it gives. Now I got some cinnamon sticks, I cut them down and I pushed them through the spackle. I'm gonna make some fake dripping or fudge, I don't even know what you call this, to put on top of that. So I just need some Mod Podge to do that and paint. You wanna use more Mod Podge than you do paint, and then you're just gonna mix the two together and start to drip that on top of your creation. Now the reason you wanna use Mod Podge is to get that glossy finish. If you just use paint, it's gonna dry pretty flat and it's not going to look shiny. Then you just sprinkle some cinnamon on top of this, and then finally I got some fake sprinkles. I'll link them down below for you guys that I decided to place on top of this because I really like the colors. They just scream fall. You want to wait at least 24 hours for your spackle to dry. If you wait even longer, that's better. Now what you're going to do is you are going to cut whatever you used as the base for this off. So I used a paper plate, so I'm cutting off any paper plate that I don't need. If you wait at least a week for the spackle to completely dry, you're going to be able to remove the rest of the plate off, and then you'll just see the styrofoam ball underneath. So here is an example. The top one just has the styrofoam ball and the bottom one is the one that still has the paper. Then I went to Starbucks and I just got some of their coffee sleeves, and that's what I'm going to put around this. Now it doesn't slide perfectly on top of these plastic cups from Dollar Tree, so I had to cut it in the back right through the center and then glue it onto the cup. Now I made another mug topper. This time around I got the medium sized styrofoam balls from Dollar Tree. I cut it right in half, and then I got these beautiful glasses from Dollar Tree recently. So I'm just going to slide my styrofoam ball through the straw of that, and then I'm going to do the whole thing again, just getting my spackle, creating that whipped look, adding my drizzle, the cinnamon sticks, the sprinkles, the cinnamon powder, you name it. I did the exact same thing, it's just on top of a lid. Here is an idea for making fake drinks. All you need to do is get some hand soap from Dollar Tree in a color that you like, and then just pour it into your glass. You can keep it there all season long and nothing's gonna happen to it, and then afterward you can just reuse it. You can keep it out even longer. I've done this before making fake Zelda potions, and I had them sitting out for 3 years and nothing happened to the soap. It didn't start molding or anything. The soap just sat in some glass bottles and that was that. This is one of my favorite DIYs in this video. I love the way that they look. I ended up painting one of the cups orange on the top and the bottom, so you can always paint them to get a color you like. These things last forever. The white one you see here, I made that one last year. They last a very long time. Let's make something we can use in the kitchen. I'm going to be using 2 of these organizers with lids from Dollar Tree, as well as 2 of these serving trays. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue those 2 organizers together. And then on top of the organizers, I'm going to glue down one of the serving trays. I then place a serving tray on the front of that. And basically, I'm just kind of using this as a coffee bar. So I put some coffee syrups on the top of this. And then I got these glass jars from Dollar Tree recently. I absolutely love them. They're some of my favorite things I've ever found at Dollar Tree. Well, I'm just putting some things for coffee inside of there. So I did ground cinnamon in one of them. I did powder creamer in another, and then sugar in the final one that I used in this. And it's just so easy to do. I mean, it was 4 Dollar Tree products right there, and I'm just gluing 3 of them together. 4 of them cost $5. I like the way that it looks, and I just think it's a perfect thing to have inside of your kitchen for fall time if you have like a coffee bar, or you can just use it for putting fruits on top of pretty much anything you want. You can even use this in a bathroom if you have that type of space.
So that is it for the DIYs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram for some more original DIYs. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.